Hiya, was new with you. This is a unique live stream under unique circumstances. We are, as you know, the Mankinder Network, driven by highest purpose. We live to serve. And in this strange world, it has seemed to many that we've been under assault, at war, if you will, for a long, long time. Recently, this has become more evident to more and more people. And there have been myriad geological challenges, storms, fires, all sorts of dramatic events with a lot of victims, also from man-made substances, shall we say. So, in all of that chaos, a lot of things have been lost. A lot of kindness has been lost. And communities and individuals have been assaulted and damaged in myriad ways. Often their stories get lost. Their circumstances buried under floods of other news. So I'm bringing you one very specific story. This is a woman, Deborah, who has become a friend. You can see I've already kind of given away some of the story in the ticker tape at the bottom there. Deborah came to my attention through a group I created called Asheville Mankinder. Asheville, North Carolina, has been devastated by very unusual storms and floods. And a dear friend of mine has 11 acres there where he's been able to be of service to his community. Steve Farmer and I worked together building a hemp-based temple, thanks to Imani Mamalution's project, Haven Earth. In Escondido, California, we worked on that project. I think it was around May of 2022, was it? Anyway, Steve and I have kept in touch. He's been a true mankinder. He's been part of our webcasts from afar, and he's introduced me to a lot of great people. And this is one of them. So I'm going to bring Deborah on screen, and she's going to tell you what's been going on in her life. It's been pretty dramatic and unfortunate. In fact, she's lost her home and all her property in it simply by stepping away from her home for a while it was being repaired. She's been at a hotel. It's a complex and unfortunate story with many characters in it, and I hope that you can hear it and hear her character, her strength, her sincerity, her skills, and find a way to move this story forward for the good of all. I feel that our networks have lost track of each other, and we're not connecting what I call #offers and needs. What do you offer and what are your needs? If we get enough people together in a sort of a mutual aid system or a database or whatever you want to call it, that we could help each other. As one great organization always said, help us to help you, to help us all. When we start that wave of listening to each other, taking time out from talking and boasting and competing and complaining to actually take a moment to listen, we can start a wave of kindness that can serve mankind. I know it. Many of us know it. It's been happening, and it'll continue to happen and expand. So I'm going to bring Deborah on, and there's an extra little screen of, in case I need a backup, I'll flip over to my phone, which is over there. So Deborah, I'm gonna unmute you, and let's hear what you've got to say. How did this story start?
Well, I don't know. I don't think I want to start from the very beginning because that'd be a very long story. But from where all the unfortunate events began, I went to California from Pullman, Washington. I was living up there for a while. I was in housing, and then I moved from one place to another because of being harassed and stalked and messed with by the management. And then when I got to Pullman, it became worse. So I decided I would just go ahead and go to California. There was a place down in Niland, California called Slav City, where they said that it was great communities that help each other and help each other out. And you can get a group of people together and live in camps and, get everything you need and give what you have and they give back and all that. And I went down there and found absolutely nothing that I had thought I was going to find. I found camp after camp after camp that I went to. People just stole from me. And when I finally got my own camp, my phone is dying. Great. Perfect.
Ain't it on charge? Can you plug it in? Oh my gosh. Well, we didn't expect that to happen. I thought she had her phone plugged in. Now what do I do? How do I reach her back? Well, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Deborah while we wait for her to hopefully plug it in and figure that out. One of the things I got a kick out of is I asked her about growing up. What was she interested in? What did she enjoy? And she liked playing with horses, dinosaurs, and trucks. It gives you just a little bit of an insight that this is a powerful woman. That was a strong woman being created. But her goal was always to build a home. And yet she's never been married. She's never found a guy that was really a proper match for her level of, frankly, what I see as integrity and strength. Here's what really surprised me, and it only came up now because we've been talking about her brother, but we decided to make a unique email address so you could contact her. And I said, okay, so you want to take care of your brother because he's ailing. She wants to get back to Spokane, Washington and take care of her brother. So I said, what's his name? It's Mike. Same name as mine. I prefer Michael. But so that it's easy to keep it straight, keep us distinct. So we created the email address, HelpDebAndMike@gmail.com. That's her goal, to be able to transcend these challenges she's been having and help her brother Mike in Spokane. Back between 2008 and 2013, she lost 3 sisters, her mom, and her best friend, all passed on. And then she met a fella who turns out to have really sidetracked her life. And his family, although her goal was to basically transfer her love and nurturance that had been a part of her family life to his family, And yet, this fellow's family was completely against her, turned against her, and was rather competitive, etc. I asked Deborah about her skills, her resources, what she wishes to bring to the table with collaborations and friendships. I've noted that she's in good health. She's strong. She does a lot. And she's not any younger than me, but I think she acts like it. She's probably more strong and prolific with her physicality than I am. She loves gardening, animal care. She had a bunch of cats, but they had more cats. And now she's got, I think, a dozen cats. Of course, what's she going to do? She's a nurturer. She's not going to do anything negative toward them. And she pointed out that she doesn't feel birds should be in cages. That's an interesting insight. She's raised chickens, turkeys, and pigs with her family growing up. She builds things when needed, great at organizing, paperwork. Seems pretty darn thorough. Born in 1964. Yeah, that is a little younger than me, just barely. 1964, November 14th. So go check out what that astrology tells you. I think you'll be impressed. We did look up one thing that I want to share with you. So I'm going to do a little show and tell here. Let's go to the share screen. So this is her Facebook page. And, okay. So maybe she's a little statist. But hey, cover your bets, you know. Vote for a good individual, right? Or just keep it clean. Either way. And that I'll tell you about in a minute, but let's go to this first. This is the Off-Grid Dreamers and Doers page, through which she and many other exit and build types, freedom cell type folks, find each other and network. Off-grid living, right? And this is where she met my buddy. I'm going to show you now. As soon as that loads up. Come on. Steve Farmer. Gotta love this guy. Extremely knowledgeable. Construction, design, and metaphysical stuff. Big time. One of the best writers I've ever experienced. Truly brilliant guy. And this emergencyrv.org is the website that Deborah contacted to see if she could get an RV. Now, note that they provide urgently needed shelter to first responders and victims of wildfires or other natural disasters. So technically, this doesn't apply to Deborah. And maybe you or someone you know can recommend another source by which Deborah can get an RV so she can get from Elko, Nevada, which is like the northeast corner of Nevada. Northwest corner is Reno and Lake Tahoe. Southeast corner, because it's kind of triangular. Southeast corner is Las Vegas. There's not much around Elko, Nevada. And she kind of found that out the hard way. So she did contact this emergencyrv.org. And this looks like a really great organization that we found out about. We provide emergency and transitional housing to displaced survivors of natural disasters. Certainly very apropos for our friends in Western North Carolina. but not exactly apropos to Deborah. So she has gotten some charge into her phone, and she's backstage again. So I'm going to bring her back. Hiya, welcome back. I kept
Hi there. Sorry.
our putative viewers entertained while you figured out your
I
power
got my phone.
situation there.
Yeah, it was low on charge, and I saw that, but it didn't register enough to plug in my phone because we were talking so much. And but
Of
first of all, I want
course.
to thank you for having me on your program and getting my my plight out there for everyone to see. I want to thank you so much for doing what you're doing for me because
It's just us.
without you and your group of, you know, what?
I'm teasing you. I'm saying it's just us. Program.
Well,
Yeah, well,
you and
we're,
your
we're,
group of
we're getting
friends and
bigger.
everyone. Yeah, you and your group of friends that I've met so far are real people. And most of the people that I meet, I really cannot trust because of all the things that have happened to me in my past in the last 5, 6 years alone. It's hard to believe that anyone's truly real because it seems like as soon as I do begin trusting someone, they turn out to be fake. They turn out to be a user or an abuser or someone that's stabbing me in the back or setting me up or trying to set me up. And I've got many examples of this, but I don't want to get into that at this point. But I just want to thank
Tell
you for
you,
having me on your program.
no, thank you,
And
and thank you for that, for sharing that trust. It is hard for a
yeah,
lot of people to trust anybody because of that exactly. And as I've talked about in particular with my one of my closest associates, Reinette Senum, we're on the same page about so many people, and we've been so disappointed. Um, and we're not going to throw stones at anyone because often they're doing the best they can. They've got bills to pay, and they're, you know, focused more on service to self than service to others. I always say, you know, that's the spectrum: service to self to service to others. And on my part,
that's right.
I've lived too much on the service to others end of the spectrum. So I
Privilege
gave too much away and then ended up with not enough to share anymore. Um, so we don't throw stones, but I tell you, we have experienced so many, you know, quick, fast buck artists and hucksters, I call it, in our health, freedom, and success movement that has been really disappointing. So
Yeah,
we mirror your concerns, dear heart.
yeah. It's almost impossible to believe or to trust someone. I mean, you look on Craigslist. I looked on Craigslist. I was looking for a vehicle, and this guy says, "Well, I'll show you a picture or whatever." And what he showed me was not a truck. And I'm like, really? I mean, I don't need pictures of genitalia. I was looking for a vehicle, not that kind of ride. But it was. I mean, this is the kind of thing I've run into along with harassment and stalking and all that. But at this point, I'm leaving that to the side because I've got serious issues of needing transportation. I need to have a way to move of the little few things that I have left that I own. And I was unable to afford the rent at the hotel I'm staying at because I was going to save my money, get insulation, plywood, fix the inside of my house up. This was before I realized it had been stolen out from underneath me, and everything that I owned in it, along with the trailer full of things that I had out there as well. Um, I was going to fix it up and go back out and live out there and try to make it through the winter because my Social Security was lowered by almost $300, so I couldn't afford to pay $450 for my house and $425 a month in the studio apartment. So I said, I'll just move out there. I'll fix it up real quick for a couple of days, and I'll move out there and pay them, you know, the daily rent or whatever. And there's my house, was my house. Um, and I'd pay them the 3 or 4 days I was here for, and then I'd move back out there and just, you know, tough it out or whatever. And well, I come to find out the other day that not only was everything taken out of my home, but the owner of the property decided to put an eviction notice on my door after I came into town to live out the winter, right out the winter, because the premier sheds have nothing inside. They're just plywood walls and 2x4s, basically like the inside of a garage that you haven't finished yet, or the home you've built that you haven't finished the inside yet. There's no toilet, no kitchen, no living room, no bedroom, no bathroom. it's just a nice little porch and open, there's a couple lofts in there, and it was great. I could put my boxes up on the lofts and everything once I built a ladder, but I hadn't got to that point yet either. But I left there to live out here for a few months to ride out the winter. And in the meantime, he put an eviction notice on my door without knowing it, because we had a dispute about the property, because from the beginning, he had bait and switched me. He sent me a video of a piece of property with trees on it, because I said I wanted a piece of property with trees. And he showed me a piece of property with trees, and it was a nice area and had rolling hills behind it. It looked great. And I was living in a pit of hell down in Slab City, California. They call it Slab City, and it's in Nyland, California. And I wanted to get out of there because of the domestic violence issue I was having with an ex, and I was getting stolen from every other day. Every time I'd leave, if I left my place at night, people would break in. They'd cut the chain. If the lock was too thick, they'd cut the lock. If the chain was too thick, I couldn't keep anyone out of my things, so I packed everything up, put it in storage, and then my cats were dying off left and right that I had there, and I had to put them in a boarding situation. So I was panicked and I was in a hurry, and I trusted Caleb, the owner of the property, to, he said he was changing the paying venue. And I said, well, just go ahead and do it yourself, because right now I just don't have the time to go online and do it. I have people hacking my phone and harassing me on a constant basis. Plus my ex-boyfriend knows hackers, and he's having people mess with me. And he bait and switched me. He changed the 2.27 acres to 1 acre without me knowing it. I get out to Nevada. It took him 2 days to finally give me the coordinates, which he had changed from the first coordinates he gave me, because he said they were wrong for some reason. And I should have known that to be a red flag at the time. But I went out onto that piece of property he gave me the coordinates for, and it turned out to be 1.113 acres rather than 2.27 that I had agreed on. So we had a dispute about the amount I was going to pay him. He wanted 10 grand for 1 acre when it was supposed to be 2. And I'm like, well, we need to renegotiate to figure this out. Where's my other acre? Where's my other acre? And he didn't talk to me for 3 to 5 days, and he just came back with a, well, you better pay or I'm going to start eviction process. And I said, this is what you have to say about where's my other acre? So we had a dispute about that. And I kept paying for a couple months, and I said, you know what, this is unfair to me. You won't negotiate with me. You won't do anything with me. You won't even talk to me anymore. So I stopped paying. When I moved out here to the hotel, I stopped paying because I had to pay for the hotel and the house. And I didn't have the extra funds to begin with, even with the money, the extra couple $100 I had for the 1 month. And then after that, I realized that when I went to Social Security, they lowered it by 250 some odd dollars. I couldn't afford the rent here along with my house, so I just decided to pay for my house. And I said, well, I just need to get out and get some plywood and insulation and fix it up, and I'll be good to go. Well, then no one was willing to help me. No one was willing to give me a ride. No one was willing to help me out for anything. And one day led to another, and suddenly I got super sick. I was bedridden for a whole week. I could barely lift my head off the pillow. I had my neighbor go get me kitty litter for my cats that I have with me. And in the 2 months that I've been here, my cats got pregnant and they had kittens, and now I have a plethora of cats. And I can't live here much longer. I didn't want to live here any longer. I wanted to go back out to my house on my property and live out there and start paying on the property again. But in the meantime, like I said, Caleb put an eviction notice on my door without me knowing it. He waited the allotted amount of time. He called the building people that I was buying it from and told them that it was abandoned, that he had, whatever, had proof from whatever, to show them that I hadn't responded. They tried to reach me, but I had changed my number and I didn't think they needed to reach me, but they had my email and they didn't bother to email me. He didn't bother to email me, of course. And he ended up buying my house out from underneath me under the guise that I had abandoned it, even though I still made payments every month. They sold him my house. And then he was allowed to go into his new house and steal and take everything that I owned of 20 years of accumulation. Kitchen, I had a $1,200 4-pillar bed. I had all my son's tools and everything that I brought with me. I brought a lot of his stuff with me because we were living together, and he moved out and he refused to come help me. So I put it on the U-Haul and brought it with me under thinking he was going to go to California with me, but he didn't end up going. And so I had a lot of his things with me too. Everything pretty much that he owned, everything I owned. And so he cleared out the entire house, plus a bunch of boxes, cedar chest, and everything I had in my trailer, and along with my parents' ashes and the ashes of the dog that I had cremated that I loved for years. 14 years I had this dog, and I had him cremated because I loved him so much. And I had his ashes in there along with my parents' ashes, and they were thrown away in the garbage by some junk removal company that went out there and cleared out the entire house, my trailer, took everything that I owned. So I no longer have a house to go back to. I no longer, even want to go onto the property. I had bought a chicken coop through the mail and built it out there for my cats to have a kitty house because, cat houses are pretty expensive. So I got a big chicken coop and I built that and it was great. It was perfect for them. And that's gone as well as a generator and everything else I had out there, my solar panels, anything I had to survive, my batteries. I mean, everything that I had to survive with is gone. So even going out there, even to sit there for a few days is irrelevant because within a few days, my phone wouldn't work anymore. And 7 miles from town, I can't call anyone. There's no one I could depend on. The last time I went to my neighbor's house to ask for a ride to the store, her dog bit me in the leg and I had to go to the hospital. So I stopped asking the neighbors for rides. So there was no one out there I could depend on anyway. And at this point, I am 21 days into the hotel here. And I spoke with the owner today, and one of the tenants here said that they were going to get a car to help me, but they're very undependable and unreliable. They've never come through with anything they ever said they're going to do. So I figured I'd get a U-Haul or something tomorrow or the next day, but then where do I go from there? What do I do? I can't carry my cats in a cat carrier. I have my original cats that I brought from California, and then 3 of the females had kittens. Now, I tried my best to keep them off of each other, and I was going to get them fixed, but there was nowhere to get that I could afford to get them fixed. It was $300 a piece to get them fixed out here in Elko, Nevada. And there's no discount or low cost spay and neuter out here at all. I mean, I couldn't even find a voucher or anyone that would help me out. I mean, everything here it was over 200 for the males and over 300 for the females. And I'm like, that's like almost $2,000, because I had 7 cats. And I wasn't about to just say, well, here, vet, or here, pound, you can have all my animals, because I fought tooth and nail to keep them alive while I was in California, boarding them for the week to keep them from being poisoned or die before I could leave. And I brought them with me, and they were kittens at the time. They were still small. So they all fit in the carrier fine, but all the kittens and my cats, they can't all be together in the same carrier inside of a U-Haul for 600 miles or more that I have to go. And so I need some space. I need to get a motorhome. And I have looked at Marketplace. I've looked for food donation vehicles. I have looked for cars and trucks and everything and anything under $1,000. It's all either the transmission is broken or it's a parts car, or you can have it for $300, but there's a knock in the engine. And I've looked at the free donations. I can't find anything in this area. I've looked for free RVs, and I've applied to that company that Michael was talking about, the one that has the donated vehicles or emergency RVs. That's what it was, emergency RVs, but it's for natural disaster victims. And I don't know if they would consider this a natural disaster, but it's not exactly natural, but it's a disaster to me because my life has been completely uprooted. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how I'm going to get anywhere. I have no transportation. That's another reason why I've been stuck here, because I don't have a car or truck to put anything into to even move anything out. And the few things that I have left, I'd really like to keep. I'd rather not have them stuck on the side of the street and thrown into a dumpster and then have them say, well, we got to call animal control because obviously you can't carry all these kitties with you down the street and you have nowhere to live and nowhere to go. So, I'll lose all my babies along with their babies, which I plan on giving away, or whatever. And, but they're too small yet. They still have to be nursing on their parents because they were just born a few weeks ago. And 6 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, and a week and a half ago. So it's not like I have the option to just say, well, here, because I love my pets. I love their babies. I'm an animal lover. I'm a person that I was going to do a cat sanctuary out where I lived on the property, but everything, like I said, was uprooted and taken from me, basically behind my back. And when I spoke to the police officer about how he just went in and stole my things, broke and entered, he said, there's no such thing as breaking and entering in Nevada. And I was dumbfounded. I said, excuse me, what? No such thing as breaking and entering. And I'm like, okay, but then I found out through the company that that sold him, that they had done everything perfectly legally. I mean, he did it to a point where, he went and put the eviction notice on my door, waited the 30 days, then called the company and said it was abandoned. They believed him. So they let him buy it out from underneath me, but still charged me for the payment the next month. He bought it on the 13th of January, apparently, and on the 5th of February, they still charged me for it. And I'm like, well, I need to get that money back, and they said they can get it back to me eventually. But the thing is that I need it now. I need a transportation. I need to buy a truck. I need to buy a motorhome. And I'm thinking a motorhome is pretty much the only thing that I can really use. I mean, a truck, with a double cab or whatever, that would work. But still, I mean, I can't really sleep in it. It's going to be a long trip. My brother had cancer. In this whole time, all this stuff is going on. I'd come to find out my brother had throat cancer and he had to go into surgery. And I was praying to God he wouldn't die on the table because he's an older gentleman, over 70, and he's like 74 or something. So hard to keep track because I had so many brothers and sisters, but they all passed away. And he is my last living relative, besides my own son, that I have out there. And I've been a home care provider, and I'd like to get out there and take care of him and see him again before he passes away, because he is. We've been very close, and I miss him. And I would rather like to go home and find my son and talk to my son again that I haven't seen for over a year. I've lost contact with him because of the hackers and the stalkers. They did that for me they did that against me for a year in California, and then I got a new phone and a new number and a new Facebook page, and I finally got in contact with him again. Within a couple of months, they knocked it out again, and I haven't talked to him since March of last year. And it's been over a year and a half since I spoke with him or seen him, and he needs my help. I need his help. I need to see my son. I haven't seen him. He's my only child, and I'm very sad about that as well. But I want to get back to take care of my brother. And with all the things that happened to me and all these unfortunate events, I'm just like, what am I going to do now? I'm 60 years old. I'm not some young chick that can just go out and say, hi, want to be my boyfriend and take care of me? Or, but I've never been that way my whole life. But still, I've been very independent, or tried to be. And the last thing I want to do is go ask somebody for some handout or charity. And at this point, I just don't know what to do. I have tried everything I can. I mean, I told people I'd pay them to help me. They didn't want to help me until say, oh, our maintenance man will take you out to Home Depot now. But I was sick on my bed. I spent over $65 on kitty glitter. And I had to spend $75 to get my birth certificate, to get my driver's license, because it expired a month prior. So I have to go and pay for that, which I got. So at least that was the good thing that happened to me today. I went out and got my driver's license renewed. And I'm thrilled about that. But I still need something to drive. I still need a way to pack up my things, move out of this hotel before I get thrown out into the street. And I don't want that to happen. I had to explain to the manager or the owner today exactly what happened. And he said, okay, well, then you've got this weekend. You'll be out by Monday. If you're still here on Monday, there's going to be a problem. And I'm like, well, I was told by Mark he'd help me out with a car to get me out of here tomorrow. But I thought, well, even if he does get a car, where's he going to take me? There's no place to drop me off anymore. I don't have a home. I don't have any property left. I mean, I could probably go squat in my own house, but I really don't want to have sheriffs come out there to try to kick me out. And I mean, they probably would too. And I have never found the police to be on my side that much. And especially in a situation like this, I would probably just be kicked back out into the street again, and it's 7 miles from town. So I wouldn't get any help from my neighbors, like I said. I haven't been able to get help before, and I know I won't get help now. And being 7 miles out of town, I would just be sitting out in the cold, and so would all my animals. So I would rather be able to try to get a large truck or a motorhome. If someone has a motorhome or RV that I can drive, that they could donate, or let me make payments on, or sell to me cheaply that I can afford, I could afford it after the first. But at this point, I don't even know where I'm going to stay between now and then. I'm hoping that the money that I have will come in, and the payment back that I made on my house, and one payment of a little over $400 will come in, and I will have that. But it's not a lot of money. Everybody knows that $400 now doesn't go far at all. And my Social Security check, well, sure, I could probably spend that and part of that on getting a vehicle, but what kind of vehicle will I really be able to get for under $1,000, especially around here? And that's why I'm reaching out and hoping that there'll be someone out there that'll say, well, hey, I've had this thing in my backyard and I don't need it anymore. And, she could probably use it better than me, and if you find something fair, $300, $400 to $500 or something, I could probably do that. But I'm thinking about, I need money for gas to get all the way up to Washington State, which is over 600 miles, I believe, from where I'm located. And I'm not even really sure. I just, I just want to get back to my brother and back to my home roots and start from there, and maybe get another piece of property eventually, be able to save up money for a few months and find another piece of property, and then buy myself another premier shed, have it custom made and delivered to my property there. But see, I can't do that right now. and I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. And I reached out and I begged people, I asked people, I pleaded with people, do you know anyone with a truck? Can you ask anyone with a truck? You ask your coworkers if they have a truck, if they can help me. And this was before that I knew that my house had been sold or bought by the owner of the property and everything had been taken out of my home. And but after that, of course, now I have nowhere to go. So that's basically my story. And I mean, I could tell you about all the horrible things that happened to me in between, but the bottom line is, I mean, that is what it comes down to. I am at my wit's end. I'm at the end of my rope. I don't know what else to do. And so I reached out to Mike and Steve, and they said, well, hey, I think maybe we might be able to help you out. And I know these people are good people. I know they are because I've talked to them. I've seen what they do. I've seen them talking to other people in Asheville. And I even reached out and I said, when I had my property still, I reached out and I said, if someone needs a place to live, it's warm over here. I have a nice big house. You know, we can all get inside of it, stay nice and toasty, and we can, you know, live out the winter over here. But things did not work out the way I planned. And so as much as I wanted to help others, I wasn't able to because no one could get to me. And without a vehicle, I could not get to anyone else. And I couldn't even, you know, I was at the point where I had to beg people for rides. And I was thinking if people could come out, we could like help each other out. And that's what I was hoping, to make a community of like that one group of people. And you know, group of 4, 5, 6, 8 people, whatever, and we could live very harmoniously together. But things just not worked out like I hoped they would and that I'd planned. And then all these other things happened after I came to the hotel just to ride out winter for a few months. Um, so I'm just, you know, looking out here, and I said, well, Mike, I don't know what else to do. I'm going to be ending up in the streets. And then when I found out my house had been cleared out and my house had been sold out from underneath me, I thought, well, now I don't even have a home to go back to. And I'm too old to start all over again or just walk down the street and throw things to the side. And I love my cats too much to just give them away to the pound. It's like giving away your children. It's like, well, you know, I can feed them, I can take care of them, you know, but I just need a place to do it in. And even a motorhome is good enough. I mean, anything that anyone might have out there or they know that runs and drives that isn't going to break down after driving it 10 miles. Um, that's what I'm basically pleading for out there into the universe for someone to help me out. And um, with all these other things I want, you know, because with this way, if I'm helped, I can go help my brother. And that's the bottom line for me right now is I want to get to see my brother. And with all these other little things I need to do first, I need to do those before I can get to him. So I need transportation in which to grab my stuff, get out and move out and go back up there to help him. And that's what I'm hoping will happen, that I can go help him because I don't know how much longer he has. And we never really know how much longer we have.
Yeah, can you tell me more about your brother's situation? Give us some specifics about this
Well,
other Mike.
you know, he was, you know, the thing is that he's a smoker, but the cancer wasn't even caused by smoking, is what the doctor told him. But he ended up with some kind of issue in his throat. He had some growth on the side of his neck, and it became very large very quickly. And they removed that with a surgery, and they found out that it was benign. But he had had cancer, and he has been going through chemo. And he was talking about how he can't eat anything because everything he's buying he can't chew because he doesn't have any teeth left. And he says, like, I need to go get my dentures. And he's kind of a procrastinator and doesn't want to go do that. And that's something I could help him get on board with is like, go get your dentures and start eating some healthy food. And I'm a really good cook, so I could cook him food that he could chew and eat, and I could get him healthier because he told me he's lost a lot of weight. I haven't seen him, but he was very healthy and in good condition when I left 3 years ago. Was it then 3 years, 4 years now? And he says he's lost a lot of weight. He's down to like 125, 130 pounds. He was like 170 pounds when I left. And he had even a little belly on him and stuff. So from sitting around and eating and, you know, and this cancer hit him hard in the last 3, 4 years. And I didn't even know about it till only a year ago, or just not even a year ago, 6 months ago, a few months ago. And to find out that he had cancer and then he had to go to surgery to remove this growth on his neck. And he got through that okay. So there's this big hole on his neck and he couldn't go to the shower. And, you know, and I'm like, I want to get up there and help you. I want to help you out because I can cook food that you can chew and eat. And you won't have to worry about it. and you can get some weight on you and be healthy again. And so, I mean, he's in his 70s, and I don't know how much, like I said, I don't know how much time he has left, and I want to spend any time that with him that I can before he passes away. I don't want to be hundreds of miles away and have him be passing away because he can't, you know, he isn't eating healthy enough, and he's one of these people that just don't cook for themselves all that much. And I'm a good cook, like I said, and I could cook for him and give him some good healthy food. And I was a home care provider before, so I know what to do. And you know, he's all for on board for helping me, having me come up there and help him. And I said, well, I just got to figure a way to get there now because I'm stuck, and I want to get up there to help you and you know, get you back to health and so you can live as long as you possibly can. And so that's the plight, you know, helping me to help him. And so I'm just trying to do what I can. And like I said, I've reached out to everyone here that I know and have met, and I don't get any response except for, well, we'll see. Oh yeah, I'll do this. Oh yeah, I'll see you next week or tomorrow. I'll get that. But nothing ever happens. So, I mean, I've had people that have a truck tell me, well, I don't know anybody, you know. I'm like, really? But you own a truck, but you can't just give me a ride, you know? So that's the kind of response I get here. Everyone else goes out for themselves pretty much. The community here, they say they have one, but I haven't met anyone in any community that's willing to reach out to help you unless it's helping them in some way. And even when people are giving away free items, they demand that you come pick them up. And I'm like, well, I'd love to grab that from you and have this and that, but I don't have any vehicles or anything. Can you bring it to me? Like, oh no, you have to come get it. So it's that's about it. I mean, I don't even know what else to say about the community I live in. I thought coming out here to a small town that it would be nice and I could meet some new people and make some friends and have a decent community to live in, but I haven't found that here. And all the people that lived out around me all were on drugs, and my boxes were disappearing. Before, when I first got here, I lived in a tent before I got my trailer that I bought for just $200. And then after a couple months, I bought the premier home after I got everything settled in. And then people were stealing my boxes from outside my tent, and they were stealing my boxes from outside my trailer. I get them on my trailer, and then I bring them into my premier shed, and then go to the property, takes it all, throws it in the dump, along with my parents' ashes, which is one of the saddest things. Because I'll never be able to spread my parents' ashes back on the property that I grew up on, that I was going to do. So that's something that distresses me as well. But the bottom line is I need some transportation. I need a way out of this hotel by Sunday, and I need some transportation to get out of here and be able to be independent again. I hate to depend on anybody else. I hate asking for favors. I hate asking people to do things for me. I want to do things on my own. And when I finally decided to swallow my pride and ask for help, I still didn't get any. And I'm not a bad person. I've never went out of my way to hurt anyone, be vindictive to anyone. And I mean, some gal asked me for a chair for her room, and I gave her one of my chairs. And then when I asked her for, you know, people with vehicles and trucks, she's like, yeah. I'm like, well, do you think you could ask them to help me? And she's like, well, they're busy working. They don't have time for that kind of thing. And I'm like, what, you won't even consider asking them? You know, so that's kind of the attitude that I found. They'll be more than happy to get something from you, but when you ask something from them, everything's too busy. So I pretty much have given up. And when I spoke with Mike, he said there's some hope yet. There's people out there that care. There's people out there that are willing and giving, and you just got to be able to reach them. And that's what I'm hoping through Michael and Steve and this whole group, it's hoping what I can do.
Yeah, unfortunately, we are in a world, as I mentioned earlier, my perspective on it is that the spectrum between service to self and service to others is, folks are erring too far on one side or the other. Those of us who've erred too far on service to others end up without enough to continue. And then the folks that are on the service to self end of the spectrum aren't paying attention. And it's a fascinating paradox, because in the last several years, our greatest shall we say, truth warriors have been ardent Christians. And last I checked, Jesus' message was rather kindness oriented. And what I've seen from a lot of folks is emphasis on voting conservative, valid enough, and often though I perceive well, you got yourself into this mess, so you figure it out. And
Yeah, exactly.
the
But I
emphasis
did
on
myself into it.
the emphasis on independence and freedom can be a bit self-indulgent in certain personality types, where we're so focused on freedom and not interdependence, focused on independence, not interdependence. And I just don't feel that that's realistic in terms of the new world that many of us are endeavoring to co-create. That it has to be uh, a world from bottom up of paying attention to what I call hashtag offers and needs, holding people accountable, and but realistically assessing someone's history, and that takes some time to listen to. And I've been getting to know you since I think sometime in October, and I meant to look it up because I don't have it in my head when the Asheville flood happened that inspired me and Steve Farmer to put together our Asheville Mankinder group and start connecting people that wouldn't otherwise know each other in terms of the rescue
That
efforts in
was
Asheville. Do you
I
remember
know
that one that
Steve
was?
I know that Steve moved out. He was up there before the flood, and he was speaking before it flooded, and it flooded within just a couple months. I'm thinking August, September. Is it September? It was earlier than October, I believe, wasn't it? It was just right around that same time. It was before I got my house. I know that, was it after I got my house? I think it was right before, right around the same time. So September, October is what I'm thinking. I can't remember exactly the month, but it was a monsoon time. So
It
I'm thinking
was it
September.
was September 26th. It was September 26th, and so just before October. And then your timing was give us again. Sorry, I missed the crucial camera switching here while I was researching. Um, give us again your timeline between your moves and all.
My moves from Pullman to California to Nevada. Is that what you're talking about? Those moves? Okay. I moved from Washington State back in 21 down to California, and I was there from July 21st till it was 120 degrees down there when I moved down there. And I had my one cat, little man, and he disappeared a few months later. He stayed with me all the time. I think somebody stole him because he never left me. He never wandered off, no matter where I
And
went.
you moved to
But
that area. Why?
because I was told it was a great community. So it was a great area where people were in communities and camps, and they helped each other. If you needed something, you just reach out and they'll give it to you. And then it's a
Now
safe
again,
place to
so
be.
Pullman. So am I getting this right? That is Pullman the Slab City area?
No. That's Pullman,
No.
Washington. Slab City's in Nyland, California.
Okay.
If people look it up, they can see the videos. But
Okay.
it's
So the
called
first
Slab City
community,
because it's called Slab City because it's on an old military base that
right?
have these big, huge cement slabs that people move onto with their tents, and they build houses on them. Or, they take pallets and make makeshift homes into them. And mostly because it's so hot out there all the time, anywhere
So
from
so
70 to
so
120 degrees in the summertime.
the first community where you found a mismatch, was that Pullman, and is Pullman in Washington
No,
State?
no, I didn't find, I no, that was an apartment building I lived in Pullman. When I told you about that had the fiber optic wires coming through above the door and snooping around my house, and where they were watching me and all that. Um, it was I went to California from there because of the harassment that I was getting, because I caught a woman, a cop's wife, posing as a manager in my old apartments. She allowed people to break into my apartment and search illegally without a warrant. Catholic Charities in Spokane, Washington. And they employed her to be the manager and snoop through people's apartments while people weren't there at home. And I caught her in my camera. I caught them. I would notice I would be sitting watching TV and my cameras would go off and on. And I'm like, why are they turning off? And then I realized they're checking the outlets to find out where they're at so they can turn off my cameras when they come into my house to search for paraphernalia, guns, weapons, whatever they were looking for, just, to snoop around to see what I had, because they wanted to know what was going on. And because they're just, to say it bluntly, dirty cops that live in Spokane. They like to do things their own way, and they want to kick people out that are either doing drugs or smoking inside their apartments or doing things they don't like. So I moved from there to Pullman, Washington to get away from that. And then I found that it was 10 times worse there, because the management there also snooped in and spied on their tenants. He had told a new manager that repeated to me, talking about another tenant, saying that she was a drug addict. And this woman had gotten into a car accident and was quadriplegic from the accident, and was smoking pot to get rid of her pain. And he called her a drug addict and wanted to kick her out because of it. And she had 2 kids. And I'm like, what kind of managers are these people that are managing these apartments, that they think that they have the right to snoop on people when they're supposed to have privacy and the promise of privacy and security in their own home? And they're breaking in and snooping through and messing with their heaters and their cooling systems and spying on them and using parabolic mics and fiber optic wires with lights on them. I mean, I saw this wire come over my door, flipping around, looking through my apartment. I was like, what in God's name is that? It's the first time I've ever seen anything like that. And I'm just like, this is just not right. And I thought, you know what? I'm not living in apartments anymore, or low income housing or Section 8. I'm going to go down to California, save some money, get my own property, buy my own home, and get away from this crap, because this is all government ran BS, and I'm not going to deal with it. I want my own privacy. I want privacy when I sit on my toilet. I would sit on my toilet and see a little blue and red light come from underneath the door across the hallway from the bathroom if my door was open. And it'd come, I'd see it peek out from underneath like they were watching me sitting on the toilet. And I'd see these sparks of light come through the walls at times. And I'm just like, what the hell? And I found out there were pinhole cameras, and it sounds insane, but I thought, well, at least out in Slab City, California, I couldn't be harassed and messed with anymore. But I was wrong about that too. They drove around with thermal cameras in their vans and watched people. I don't know who they are. I don't know why they watch people. I don't know who they're reporting to. But according to some of the Slab City Unrestricted and the news they have there, that they have CIA and undercover cops living out there as well. And why, I don't know. It's supposed to be a cop-free central zone and where you're not harassed or messed with, but these people still do. And they end up stealing from you and ruining your life and doing everything they can. And so I lived my life decently as much as I possibly could. And then I decided to live, I met some guy that ended up being violent. Turned out to be a very violent narcissist, and hit me in the face with his van door, shattering half my face, cracking 4 or 5 of my teeth, knocking out one of them. I had to be life flight to the hospital after this incident. And of course, after that, we broke up. And I decided I want to get out of there as fast as I can, because every time I left my place, him and his friends would break in and into the trailer. I had my things. They dug a hole through the bottom of it, stole a bunch of my stuff. Then I get it all the way out here to Nevada, thinking I'm safe and everything's okay. And turns out I'm not. I still have people around me that want to steal my things. And then the owner of the property took everything from me. And I was like, this is a series of unfortunate events and a very long story. That's the short version of it. And now all I want to do is get myself a new piece of property, get myself a new house someplace, and I want to go take care of my brother in the meantime. And I need help to do that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What a bizarre sequence of events.
Yeah, you think? Yeah. And
yet there have been so many extraordinary, synergistic, serendipitous synergies happening in our world lately that even astrologically, if folks are interested in that sort of thing, so they say, that I'm hoping that our endeavors to reboot, as we've been offline for a few months, that this being our first time back webcasting again, and then tomorrow we have a big afternoon in Santa Monica, Los Angeles, California, that this word gets out to folks, because this is the sort of networking and resource sharing that Mankinder has always been about. And Mankinder really started based upon my research regarding the California fires of 2017, when they hit NorCal in October and SoCal in December of 2017.
They show a video. They show a video of 3 fires starting at the exact same time. So it was not an accident. It was all planned out. And the way Newsom does this, is all excited, about these people planning on building out there. And there's houses that are still burning. The place is still on fire. Houses are still being burned, and acreage is continually, and he's out there all excited, about how, these people out here were all talking about planning on building, and, and it's like, but their houses aren't even done burning yet, and there's no water, and they try to blame Trump for that, but he had nothing to do with that. The water was gone long before then.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's definitely a lot going on that certainly will not be in the corporate media, since we know who pays the corporate media. And we don't need to say it right now, since we're on corporate media today. But I did want folks to have a good understanding of your background. And so while you were charging your phone, I was sharing that you're in good health, you're strong, you're active and interested in gardening, professional home care provider, animal care.
I mean, I got myself a little mini chainsaw from Temu and cut down every sagebrush that I had to put to
Oh my
make a
God.
new driveway. 40-foot by 20-foot swath. I had to cut all these sagebrush out. It took me like probably 2 weeks to cut it all out, but I got it all cut out, made myself a new driveway so the truck could deliver my house, or the premier shed cabin / home. And excuse me, my kitty wants out of her little kitty house there. I cut down a bunch of sagebrush to build a chicken coop / cat house for my kitties, so they could be outside, when it started getting dark, because the coyotes always seemed to come out, and I didn't want to get any of my animals, eaten. So I built this kitty cat house so I could put a tube from my home to this cat house that I built out of a chicken coop, basically made with metal pipes and wire. And I was going to, so they could come in out of the house at will. They could be outside when they wanted to be and get fresh air, and they could come back in the home and they'd be safe all the time, with little kitty houses. And now all that material is gone. Everything that I'd saved up is gone. Everything I paid for is gone. Everything that I had that I was going to build with is gone. And all my belongings from the last 25 years of my life are gone. And I mean, the things that I've accumulated from back all the way from 1995, basically, I still had things from then. I still had items from my mother that passed away, like a little Oriental umbrella, and I'm never going to see that again. I had wrote a book that took me 10 years to write, a fiction novel, but it took me like 10 years to write it, and I was just trying to finish it up and find the time and patience to re-edit it and go over it again. And now that's gone. And my parents' ashes are the worst thing, though. And I think about that, and I think, where are my parents? What's left of my parents?
Indeed. The other thing I was pointing out to folks, again, you're finding the charger for your phone. Real life, folks, this is not corporate media. Is that you grew up?
AI.
You grew up. that you grew up raising chickens, turkeys, and pigs. You've been you do construction when you need to. You're great.
Yeah.
You've been great at organizing paperwork and doing all the stuff that's required. I mean, people
Yes,
can feel your
my parents had a
personality.
garden. I grew up with organic before organic was cool. We didn't have pesticides. I think my dad sprayed with Roundup once, and he said I don't like that. So we had potato bugs, and we had earwigs in the corn, but it was no big deal because it's just a bug. You clean it out, it's done. And I was eating organic before organic was cool, and we planted corn, we planted potatoes, radishes, green beans. I was snapping those beans when I was a kid. I hated that, but I learned how to garden from my mother, and grow lawn, and that's what I wanted to do, was build a nice oasis for myself out there and have my own home for the first time in my life. At 60, I finally had my own home, and that was just taken out from underneath me. And I don't know why this happened to me, but it's unfortunate. And so all I wanted was just to fulfill my dream. And every time I tried to have a man in my life to help me get to that dream, it just got thrown back into a pit again. So I decided to be single for years. And unfortunately, I broke down and let this man into my life. And then all he did besides shattering my heart was shatter my face. And luckily, it healed up very well because it was only one quarter of my cheek here, but my ocular socket and the side of my head here and my upper forehead and my cheekbone was shattered. And they said there's really nothing they can do. There's no reconstructive surgery that they can do. They just got to let it heal. And then along with my teeth, and now I need to get either implants or dentures. And I'd rather have implants, but everybody knows how expensive those are. So that's something else I can't afford, but and especially when a tooth cracks and then a nerve is exposed, that does not help. And I finally got my Medicaid and everything settled here in Nevada, and I was planning on living out my life out here, and now this is all erupted, and now I'm just like, now what? I guess I go back to Washington? I don't have any other choice. I mean, it's not like I have a trailer with land that I could just go move on to, or even a mobile home or even a vehicle to drive, even go anywhere. So that's why I reached out to Michael and I said, God, can you help me? Can you and Steve help me? And it's like I just told my plight. I didn't really think I asked to help if he could help me. I just think I asked if he might know a few people in the area that might have a vehicle or something that I could get, even a car, at the time. You see, I figured I only needed a car at that time. And at the beginning of the month, and then I come to find out just a couple of days ago, not only is everything I own gone, but my house as well. So now I'm like, okay, I need a lot more than just a car. I need a home to live in while I travel. So that's why I'm thinking RV, motorhome, a bus somebody has refurbished into a motorhome. And then I'll even go into restaurants to use a bathroom if I have to. It doesn't have a toilet inside of it. I will, I just need something where I can be on my own, independent, not have to worry about anything else, and be able to take care of what I want to take care of, which is me and my animals. And like I said, keep the few items that I still have left, along with my sanity, I hope.
Yeah, and unfortunately, my living situation here is a bit challenging also, and I need to be respectful to the folks here. I'm incurring upon their making incursions upon their space and time, as it's 1:45 a.m. here, and so I need to wrap up in about 5 minutes. But we're going to just do a quick wrap up here. I wanted to share with folks they can find you on the beloved Facebook, and this is the Off-Grid Dreamers and Doers group that you met my buddy, who I definitely know in place and have collaborated with, Steve Farmer. The reason why I'm intrigued about Off-Grid Dreamers and Doers is it feels so similar to the first idea that I gave you, which is I asked you if you'd heard of freedom cells. And I don't think you'd heard of freedom cells .org website and
Yeah,
system. Had you?
that was the one I was telling you about. That was the one I was telling you about, that I only found one person within 100 miles of
Right,
me
but
that had
when
only
I
ever
mentioned it,
one time.
when I meant when I mentioned it, I don't think you'd heard of it yet, right?
No, no, I hadn't. I hadn't heard of that.
Right.
Or, I mean, I was lucky that I even seen Steve. I don't even recall how I even got a hold of him, to be honest.
I'm often surprised at that folks haven't heard of Freedom Cells. Now,
Oh,
of
that's
course,
right.
when I first
I
heard of
liked the
it,
building that he was doing.
I was so
I saw
delighted
the
to hear
fact.
about freedomcells.org. I'll give you the floor back in just a moment. I do want to
Oh
share
no,
with people a
that's
little bit
fine.
about Freedom Cell. I do want to share with people a little bit about
Which one is it?
freedomcells.org because
Under his name, I can't remember which one is which.
of which
Yeah, is it
you
Freedom
mean the
Cell that he's
founders.
on, or the other one? The builder. I mean, when I first saw his Facebook page about building the buildings they had built out there in the desert where had been at, I was like, wow, that is awesome. That's what I would love to do out where I'm living or where I'm moving
Oh
to,
yes,
and
yes,
or living at, and I would love to build something like that. And I said, please come out here and show me how to do this. And
right,
he was up there in North Carolina and busy doing stuff
right,
out there. And then the flood happened really quickly after that. So there was no
right.
way that he could come. I was just like,
Well,
dang, that's too bad.
Deborah, Deborah Dearhart, since our time is limited, I want to wrap this up as quickly as possible
Okay.
with all due respect to my housemates. So
Oh, yes, of course.
I do want to share with people a little bit about the Freedom Cells Network because I'm hoping that we can bring this story to the attention of Derrick Broze and John Bush and others in the Freedom Cells Network because it's to me the world's best system for networking folks off grid, and as they love to say, the exit and build lifestyle, because it's the exit and build concept is exactly what you folks are about with off grid dreamers and doers and everything that you've been about, actually. So, unfortunately, what you found when you joined Freedom Cells, and that's freedomcells.org. I'm not showing the website, but I will in a moment. There's a couple things I didn't prepare as well as I wanted to. But when you looked for someone in your area, you found that there really wasn't anyone, and so that's one of that's one example of why I'm so passionate about promoting the Freedom Cells Network more broadly, and why we've been bringing together marketing strategies with our Mankinder team, and so we're hoping that Derrick and John and their team will allow us to help them market this system outside the folks that they've already reached so effectively. There's about 42,000 right now, I think, members in the network. And 42,137 on the website alone. And then really most of the action takes place in Telegram groups. But what
Yeah.
we will
When
see
I went to
when we
Slab City,
go ahead.
real quick, real quick, I just want to interject that when I went to Slab City, I was hoping on finding off-grid dreamers and doers out there, but that is not what I found. I just found a lot of
Right,
off-grid thieves and scam
right.
artists and con artists. But yeah, when I saw that online with Steve, I was like, yeah, that's what I want. That's what I want to do, is find a community like that out here where I live, where I can get a community together. But there's no one here in this town or anywhere around here that are even interested in doing anything like that. They just want
It's
their amenities
wild.
in their house and their apartment.
Yeah.
So I mean, I couldn't get anybody interested in solar or off grid anything.
And there's
So
so much opportunity for folks to buy land and more effectively
yeah, and it's
utilize land.
inexpensive. I mean, you're gonna have to work the land yourself. You're gonna have to cut the shrub brush and like plant some grass and gardens and all like that. But that's what it's all about. And if you have a community of 6 to 8, 10 people to do that, it's Henry. it's a lot easier than doing it on your own. And I was doing it all by myself. I cut down every little shrub brush and sagebrush all by myself, all alone. I did it all alone, all the work.
Amazing.
And then it got taken all out from underneath me after all the hard work I put in there for 4 or 5 months. And it's just gone. And I don't want to have to walk away from it, but I don't have a choice. I'm going to have to just start over again somewhere else with absolutely nothing. So, except for, you know, my kitties, my little mini fridge, my little mini microwave. That's about all I have left. Stuff in the studio apartment.
So check it out. I'm starting to get some.
Henry, but I will let you go. I mean, if you need to go, you need to go.
We're definitely hearing your kitties now. Can we put one on screen again? You want to share a kitty?
Henry's, come here, babies. Come here, Henry. Come here. Come on.
So here's the Freedom Cells map in your general area. There we go. All right. Let's
my baby.
Let's bring Henry up. All right, there we go. Awesome. Oh, beautiful. What a beautiful kitty. Oh my gosh.
Oh, you can see the kittens. They're absolutely gorgeous. And I mean, it's like the more I have, it's like I did not plan this. I wanted to get them all fixed when I got up here to Nevada, and there's no one out here that could help me with spay and neuter. They're $300 a piece, and I'm like, can't afford $300 a piece, maybe $300 a month. But by the time the couple months have passed by here, it's too late. So, but I have plenty of kittens, and as soon as I get settled again, I guess I'll be giving away cats and kittens, and except for my original crew, because my original crew is part of my family, and I hate to separate family, but I already lost the mother of the crew I brought up here with, and the first cold snap we had, she disappeared. So now I have her children and 2 of the children from another cat that I had that passed away. The weird thing in California is I got 4 cats fixed, 3 got chipped, and the 3 that got chipped died. It was like they all caught a virus that attacked kittens at first. These kittens that were in the area, they died, and I ended up having to bury them, and then I ended up having to bury 3 of my cats. Henry, come on, baby. See, there he goes after the door again. There's something going through here again, so.
Well, there's a lot of opportunity for Freedom Cells to expand in your area, but at this point, you're on your way to Washington State to be of service to your brother.
Yeah, until I would like to go up there and take care of him for a while, yes, and then when he gets sick of me, or I find a place to live again, because I'm not going to live with him, and I can't live out of a motorhome forever. Then I'll be moving on to something else, but like somewhere else. But in the meantime, I want to get up there to take care of him and help him out, get him, like I said, back in shape, healthy again, and then move on to my own dream. If I can get a hold of my dream again, I want to do that. And maybe find a community of people, like-minded people like you, Steve,
exactly,
that want to get together, because I would rather live in a community of people that have the same thoughts in mind of being off-grid, under the government's thumb, with Social Security or not, irrelevant. But I mean, that's the money I work for, so it's mine. It's not like I'm living off the system. According to them, we are, but useless eaters. But
right.
I look at it as I work for that money, I deserve that money, and I shouldn't be getting cut down, every month. I should be like being able to have enough to be able to make a payment on something and still eat and survive every month until I decide to pass away. But I don't want to really keep going on about this because I don't want to take any more time.
I've got to go. My housemate is waving things around. He's getting very concerned. And so I'm just So I'm just sharing that in Spokane, Washington, looks like there's some members. This is the individuals rather than the Freedom Cells, but check it out. Here's somebody. So there's some there's some good peeps around Spokane, Washington. Now, granted, they may not be active on the website itself, but again, Derrick and John, we have marketing strategies we really want to roll out on behalf of the freedomcells.org.
If I could find someone with land out there that's already bought up, 10, 20 acres or whatever, and I could go find a new house out there and start life out there, I'd be more than thrilled to live up in that area, off grid, because I love that area up there. I don't want to live underneath any Section 8 government housing or anything like that, or an apartment ever again. The harassment was horrendous. What they will do to you to kick you out and treat you like the worst individual on the planet is unending. There's nothing they won't do. So that's why it's so hard for me to trust anyone anymore, because of all the things that happened to me. And people I thought were upper echelon, decent people turned out to be the lowest forms of life I've ever met. So.
Little background noise over here. I'm going to do one last thing that just occurred to me, and I'm going to map it out. Elko NV.
We can look at that. We can look at that later, tomorrow or something.
I just wanted, we're wrapping this up right now, but I am going to do directions from Elko, Nevada to Spokane, Washington. And
there's a place over here in Elko that's called Devil's Pass or Devil's Tunnel or Devil's Hill or something. And I live not too far from that. And when I did the calculations from my house to my brother's house, it was 666 miles. And I'm like, oh, isn't that ironic? No
what
wonder
is that telling us, right? Right, indeed. So that's the goal, folks. It's only about 666 miles and about 10 hours and 20 minutes. So no worries. Get her out of the den of devils and up to, I don't know what Spokane means. What's the etymology of the word Spokane, Washington?
It is a Indian name, I believe. A lot of people mispronounce it Spokane, but it's actually pronounced Spokane. And there's Indians that lived up there quite a bit. There's Cherokee and there was another tribe, but it was salmon. I mean, salmon went through there. The river goes right through the middle of Spokane, downtown Spokane. It's absolutely gorgeous what they've done with it, with the power station and everything. But I don't know a lot of analogy. I know the history of it, but I can't recall it right at this very moment because of all these other things in my mind. I can't even go back and think about it anymore at this point. I really didn't think that I would see Spokane again because of all the horrible things that happened to me there and the people that didn't anything but just sabotage my life, Washington itself. But my brother and my son is drawing me back up there. And I guess all these mysteriously unfortunate events have also done this and left me no choice. So not only the choice that I want to make to go help my brother and find my son, but I don't want to stay in this town where you can't even get help when you reach out to the community. They're unwilling to do anything, really. I mean, there are food banks. There are good people here. Don't say it. I can't say that it's all bad. But I haven't met as many good as I have met the other way around. The owner of the hotel gave me a break for the weekend, and that's what I have. And I need help, and I need it now. And I mean,
and here's one more thought that I just want to throw in is you'll be closer to Snohomish, Washington, which is where one of our key mankinders, Azmyth Kaminski, buddy of mine for 20 years or so, that's where his family farm and business is. And it's called Science Under Nature. Notice that stands for SUN. So scienceundernature.com. And that's a very family-oriented venture. That's Azmyth right here with one of his son shirts. And
wonderful.
That's look at that. Okay. Welcome to the family. Yeah, by Seattle. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah,
awesome
guy. I lived over there by Auburn. Over there for 5 years with my boyfriend. So,
okay. Beautiful. Well, listen, dear heart, we're going to wrap it up. And suggest that
Thank
folks
you, everyone out there. Thank you so much.
do this. HelpDebAndMike@gmail.com. And that's not me, because I'm Michael, but her brother is Mike.
You can reach me at that address of Help Deb and Michael, or HelpDebAndMike@gmail.com, and contact me there. Let me know what you can do for me, what you might be able to do. Just let me know. I'm going to be looking at it every moment from now till Sunday, or because I'm thinking if I don't have anything by Saturday afternoon, then I'm just going to probably have to go get a U-Haul, because I am not going to let the management throw everything else that I have left out into the street along with me and my pets. So I'm going to have to do something. I need to, before the U-Haul place closes Saturday night, which is 6, 7 o'clock, I think, or 8 o'clock. I'm not really sure. They can close at 4, but I haven't checked on their hours. But I'm hoping that they'll have a van or a truck ready for me if I need one. But I'd rather have a motorhome or a truck or something I can call my own that I don't have to worry about returning or paying daily, on. And if I have to get a truck to go to Spokane, it's going to cost me at least $500 or $600. I know that, or more, most likely, because it'll be a one-way trip.
Somebody can spare something, and then please let us know what can we do for you, dear viewer, in exchange. We will want to promote you. Maybe Deb will be willing to work for you, depending on where you're at. Her myriad skills.
For a while, I don't have to leave right away, but I need a place to live, sleep, and have my pets, because I can't just toss them to the wind. So if you need a cook for a month and a half, you need a cook for a few weeks or whatever. I'm willing to do. I'm willing to work and cook. I don't want to carry heavy lumber, but I'm 60. But I can still get around and do things. But I still have bad knees and bad back from being a home care provider for 15 years, and or actually longer than that. But I want to let people know that I can still get around and do things. So it's not like I'm just saying, here, gimme. I'm willing to do whatever it takes, basically with, light labor, painting, helping build a garden or getting something ready, or, I guess it's really not that time of the year yet. It's not spring yet, but anything that I can do physically. And I'm a good cook. And I know a lot of really great recipes and ways to cook food that some people don't know. So, yeah.
Let's give Henry a moment of camera time to wave good night.
Oh, you want me to? Well, Henry.
Yeah, I hear voices over there.
Henry, come here, baby. Come on. Oh, hold up. I showed Henry. This is his sister. Henry and his sister are the two siblings that survived the virus from the cats getting that chip. And I promised their mother while she was dying in my arms that I would take care of her 2 children.
Beautiful.
For her.
Beautiful.
And so that's where I have those 2 from. And she was orange and gray together. I called it Gorange because she was the most gorgeous tabby I'd ever seen. I'd never seen a tabby with bright golden green eyes. They were golden green with gray and orange, and it was the most beautiful color I'd ever seen. It was so exotic looking.
Thank you, Deb.
Son and daughter.
Thank you, Deb. We love you.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you so much. And good night.
We are gonna do what we can, and now it's up to you, dear viewer. How can we help? DebAndMike@gmail.com. Much love. Blessings.
Thank you.